Sean here with BaseMint Comics. It's Wednesday, July 8th. New comic book day, so that is very exciting. So we're going to get the bike ready, and then we're going to hit the trails to head up to our favorite comic shop to pick up our new books. So we are back. It was a good ride. We got some crazy storms here over the holiday weekend, and so lots of trees were down in the area that we normally bike through, and we got to get out there and chainsaw some of them to clear the path for everyone that uses those trails for bikes. So we are back. The tea is made in the BaseMint Comics mug of one. Speaking of which, the tea reminds me. So, channel is next month, I think, is a year. It's in its infancy still, I think. We're super close to 100 issues or episodes. I call them issues because, you know, it's a comic theme. But super close to 100 episodes. And I came in last year onto the scene after the 2025 Comic Book Community Awards were done. And so this year, the nominations were open, and McGroovy, my pal McGroovy, who I plan on nominating for a few things, along with a couple other channels that I really enjoy, Sequential Artifacts being one of them. Everyone should watch that. It's fantastic. He hipped me to the fact that I was nominated for a couple things, because I guess the first round of nominations were announced. So, and one of the things that made me laugh when I saw one of the categories is like a distinguishing feature or something about, you know, this community or whatever. You know, I think if it was 20 years ago when I first met my wife, no, it's 21 years ago, I would have had, I had bright pink hair and lots of makeup, and yeah, it was a time. You heard the song in the bike ride. It was a time. But I laughed because one of the nominations was because of the tea. So that was funny. So I don't know how. I'm not 100% sure how it works. I think if I'm nominated, I don't know if I need to continuously be nominated. Anyways, I don't know how it works, but I thought that was funny. I thought the tea thing was funny. So there you have it. Last week, we went out for the chicken sandwiches and got all the X-Men 97 toys. And after I recorded last Wednesday's show, I watched all 3 episodes, and holy smokes, it was fantastic. Season 2 has been off to just as a good start as the first season. I had to laugh. A buddy of mine, he just texted me, unaware that I don't watch the shows. Like, I wake up and I hang out with Hank, go to work. I don't watch them until later, so I try to dodge spoilers. And it's a weird thing because it's like it's the X-Men, so there's nothing in there. There's nothing in there that is going to be like a spoiler for me because I watched the other 3 episodes. I know where this is going. Like I know all the players. I know the storylines. I know the history of where this is like stemming from, but I still kind of like, he shot me a text where he was like, is this true? And I immediately was like, yes, it's referenced in this 4-issue miniseries from the 1990s. You can find it here. Cause I'm a good dude. But then I had to kind of be like, just a heads up, like, cause again, like, we're all in this. So like you see a movie trailer and you're like, oh, okay, that, and you kind of have an idea. So it's like, I'd still like the moment of kind of allowing it to happen before I start getting the questions from the normies. Not that there's anything wrong with people who don't have a fucking comic book shop in their basement. I'm perfectly fine with it. I dig the fact that like dudes that I grew up with that were just like, oh yeah, Sean's super into comics. Now also get, excited about movies and television. Do I wish some of them would find themselves in a comic book store picking up comics? Absolutely. But, it is what it is. On the weekends that Marvel movies come out, my wife usually requests that I shut off my phone because I get inundated with just like so many questions, and I'm just like, I want to just kind of be, how sometimes you just kind of want to like, it's like we live in a society, again, I say this on YouTube so I understand that I'm like, you're part of the problem, Sean. But I often talk to my friends about this where like, I don't want to like talk about movies on a podcast or here. I want to like go to a diner and like have a piece of pie and I want to talk about it, and that's as far as I want it to go. Like that's where it stops for me. I don't want to go on the internet and I don't want to hear everyone's theories about, because how quickly is everybody like, oh, this was great, and then groupthink starts to happen amongst the internet, which sucks. The same thing happens in comics. And so it's just one of those things where it's like, I like my circle small. So there it is. So I'm super excited to see episode 4 tonight. I know for sure where it's going now. But I'm still looking forward to checking that out. I still haven't watched Spider Noir. So I was, my wife the other night was like, hey, the final season of The Bear came out. And I was like, I got too much stress from all the house projects we have going on that I do not want to watch a show where literally everyone screams at each other. First season should have just been a one and done. Look at me. I just said, What an asshole. I just said I don't want to talk about this stuff unless we're having pie. Do you guys have pie? Because if we don't, we're not talking about it. Anyways, have not seen Spider Noir, so I'm probably going to watch X-Men 97 tonight, and then maybe kick it over to the first episode of Spider Noir, because I'm excited to watch that. And the cycle of, I believe, people watching that has died down. So, you know, it is what it is. Holy smokes. I'm off. It's the tea. I blame the tea. Off the rails already. Stuff that I loved from last week. Amazing Spider-Man. I've really been enjoying Joe Kelly's run. I didn't get caught up in all that mania over the internet where people were like I didn't particularly think that the cover for number 1000 was as great as, say, 900 or 800 or 700. 700 was fantastic. Or 500. But I also dearly love John Romita Jr., so I didn't get caught up in all that. But anyways, I dig this. I like Patrick Gleason's art. I really, listen. I grew up with Spider-Man, like we all did. And I would love if he was with MJ, but I didn't fucking throw my books in the dirt the second that Mephisto popped up and they made the stupid deal. Did I think it was dumb? Did I think it would last as long as it has? No, I didn't. I think partially why it has lasted as long as it has is because there still is such a loud group that is angry about it. So I almost think they're like sticking it to him, which sucks. So I just wish everybody'd, bring the temperature down a little bit. That being said, I just want it known. Would I prefer, especially now that we've got 90 gajillion Spider Kids running around with powers, and we got Spider Boy, and we got Miles, and we got Silk, and I don't know, any other myriad of Spider people. Would I love it if they just gave us a Peter Parker that and not the Ultimate Universe? Like, it doesn't count. I would love it if Spider-Man could grow old with me. But I also understand why that they don't do that. And all this is to say that I really like Raylith. I really love their relationship and enjoy that dynamic in the book. I think she's a great character. I actually really dug the space stuff that they were doing there last year. I don't think that this May had a sun thing is going to go as smooth as it appears at the moment. It's almost going too well, where I'm like, oh, a card is being turned here. Like, and especially in this issue, like, he straight up like asks, Cormac straight up asks Pete, like, does May know your secret? And it's weird having some dude who's just entered the picture like already know Pete's secret. I get why. I understand it. Death Spiral wasn't my favorite storyline, but that's mostly because of symbiotes. But I am interested to see where this goes. It is wild to think that we are 4 issues away from number 1000. What a trip. Challenges of Doom. I did not. Al Ewing's a great writer. I didn't dig the art in this. It's a little, I don't know. It just wasn't that, it didn't do it for me. And I just I didn't know what this was. This is part of let's be real. This is part of the problem of being into new comics, is that you have to order everything 3 months in advance, and nobody wants to stiff their shop, right? But, I didn't need a retelling of Doom and Reed's origin with so-so art, in my opinion. That was all. So, I thought maybe this was going to be... I didn't know what it was going to be. But that didn't really, you know, oh, cool. Like, it was, a lot of the stuff right now for me is being judged on a basis of, am I ever going to read this again? You know, there is plenty in this room that I have read over and over again. There are things that are tradition for me to read. In fact, over the July 3rd, I have a tradition that I do every year since 1996, where I read Uncanny X-Men number 336, because that came out that day. The movie Independence Day came out that morning. My dad took me and my best buddy to the movies to see that. Afterwards, we went to this hamburger joint I'm always talking about called Bates. Then we went up to the comic book shop. It was the Onslaught storyline, and it was just this X-Men book that was like a battle between all of them. I was riding the high of that Jeff Goldblum classic. And so I read that every year on July 3rd while I have a Bates burger. So, I mean, like, this is something where I'm like, okay, this is probably just going to get filed away. There is a second part of it. I guess these are just one-shots, kind of like the Bring on the Bad Guy thing from last summer. And the next one has, you know, it's Spider-Man. And so I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, that might be an angle that I'm not used to. But as far as this one, I was like, oh, didn't do much for me. Iron Man number 7. Enjoyed this. This was a step up for me from number 6. I still wish the original, like, first 5 issue artist would come back. The artist on this, it was good, but I really enjoyed the first 5 issues. This had a lot of War Machine stuff in it, and a classic Iron Man villain returns in the end of this. So this is still high up there on my list, but the last 2 issues haven't been as strong as the first arc. So, last book. We all know what it is. Unless this is the first time you've ever stumbled upon my channel. You know what book is my favorite from last week, because I called it last week. It's Fantastic Four. This, listen, the world's greatest comic magazine, 100%. This was fantastic. This was a delight. The story in this, I don't even want to talk about what the story is, because it was so fun and so well done, and such like a, it's like not, it was serious but not serious. It like wasn't a goof off issue, but it sort of was, but it was done in a way that was fantastic. And I can't sing the praises of Ryan North's Fantastic Four enough. And I think if you slapped Absolute on top of this, everyone would buy it. I don't know why that is the mark of a hot selling book these days, but just when you go to the shop and you look at Fantastic Four, just be like, oh, it's Absolute Fantastic Four. I'm going to buy that. And because I think everyone should be reading this. If you're not into new comics, and you're like, comics are great, blah, 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 blah. Go and Ryan North's Fantastic Four. Do it. That was such a fun issue. It's such a good title. All right. Anyways, that was the stuff that I really liked. I had a bunch of other stuff from last week. Like, Mortal Thor I've been enjoying, but there's some stuff where X-Men United I am not enjoying. And I read a What If Secret Wars, and I didn't really care for that. But that's also because I just don't, I've never really had this is going to hurt one of my pals who watches Heart, but I just do not have a soft spot for the Ultimate Universe. I don't. I am a huge fan of alternate realities, and Exiles is like one of my favorite books. I love What If, but for some odd reason, the Ultimate Universe was just I will give it this. It was the time period that it came out to. It was a very rough time period in my life. I had just lost my mom and desperately needed my comics to stay the same, because I needed something in my life that was a constant, as I was initially wading through the grieving process. In 20 years at the rate that I'm going in cornerbacks, probably be 30. When I get to Grant Morrison's New X-Men, if I ever decide to like I have strong feelings about that run, and it is complete. This is why it's imperative, if you're watching this, that you take every single person's viewpoint on what they think is a great comic with a grain of salt, because it is absolutely like driven by their own personal shit. And I mean this because I know so many people that are like, Grant Morrison's X-Men is fantastic. And for a decade, I hated it. And it was all because it came out right after my mom died. And I needed the X-Men to stay the same. And they just went black leather and weird. And oh my God, I hated it. I hated it for so long. And it was like, and I was like stupidly not willing to admit that I hated it just because I was in a shit place in my life. And so I talked a lot of trash about it. And it's like, I read it, I've read it again and I still don't love it. But it's not nearly as bad as I initially thought, because my own stuff was peppering my enjoyment of it's how it goes. So it's like, I always laugh, like I could recommend things, but understand that those things that I would recommend are entrenched in my own personal experience of like what records I was listening to, what I had going on in my life, I cite, I'm pointing because there's a giant movie poster of it, but I always say that X-Men Days of Future Past is my all-time favorite comic book movie. And I stick with this because I love, but here's the thing. My wife and I were on vacation. We found an old movie theater, like not some ginormous screen, not theater seating, but this old rickety, like 80s movie theater. We were the only people it legit had like the let's go to the movies thing in the beginning. That's how old this theater was. And like I bought a stomach churning amount of snack. Like I was like, I'm gonna live like I'm a 9-year-old while I experience Sentinels on the big screen for the first time. So and then we like drove home from this vacation that we were on, like it was just the two of us. So like my love of that movie is also kind of guided by this like great day that I had when seeing it. And I don't think oftentimes when things are recommended that people give that sort of like asterisk to like, well, I love this because, and there's loads of things that are entrenched in it. Or if you dislike something, there's probably some things tacked onto that. It is what it is. So there you have it. I don't know. I will once again blame the tea. Go to cbcawards.com and you can blame the tea too. What did I pick up this week? I sang the praises for this for quite some time. The last issue involved the Punisher, and I was like, how are they going to do that? And it involved Felicia like killing a dog. It's sort of a comedic John Wick thing going on, and I kind of wonder if this title has slowly worn out its welcome with me. It started out super strong, and then there was kind of a Mary Jane arc that lost it a little bit just because I don't care about Mary Jane being a symbiote. I don't like symbiotes. There you go. So I am hoping that it's still good. I think G. Willow Wilson is a great writer. I've enjoyed this enough that it's made me want to check out her Miss Marvel stuff because I'd never read that. I liked Miss Marvel and the Champions. I adored the Marvel show that she's on. I actually just recently rewatched it. We've been going through the last phase of movies slowly, and television shows. We just finished that show. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And the movie we have to watch next is The Marvels, which I loved. And I got hammered for expressing that opinion online the weekend that it came out. I got called everything in the book. And once again, I'm like, and I even, because somebody like really went at me, and I was just like, hey man, like it was an hour and a half, like fun comic book movie. I went out to dinner with my wife. Like we had a good time. That affects my enjoyment of the film. Like I had a nice day. So I was just like, I'm sorry that you fucking hate women, but I thought it was fun. And I do love it when it's rare that I ever get into those types of conversations, because it's like, it sort of cracks me up, because it's always met with this like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just an MCU fan. It's like, really? I could bury you alive with long boxes, but sure. I thought this was going to be something different. I thought this was a continuation of the, I got it right here. This Battle World mini from last year, which I really enjoyed. And it sort of ended with this cliffhanger that kind of led into what I thought issue number 1 of this series was. And it kind of was. Issue 1 was great. I didn't enjoy issue number 2 as much. But I really like Christos Gage's writing. And it'll be nice to see Goliath again. That'll be fun. It's a character that I miss. But I liked Mark Millar's Civil War when it came out. I thought the movie did it better. I know that's sacrilege amongst the comic book community, but I do think that phase 3, 2, whatever. Winter Soldier onwards, I feel like took so many great elements from the comic book and kind of handled them perfect. And so like, I don't know. I just think it's been 20 years since Civil War. Let's celebrate it with these, like, it's fine, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And again, so that's me not reading solicits because I refuse and just going in there blind and willy-nilly checking stuff off and then not wanting to drop it because I already pre-ordered it and I don't want to stiff my shop with it because I'm a decent human being. Fear of Firestorm. I don't know anything about DC at all other than the episode, the Mr. Freeze episode of the animated series makes me cry. And that Keaton was the best Batman. And I have a very funny story of a pal of mine who once was walking down the street during Sundance and Val Kilmer was walking toward him. And he went to go shake Val Kilmer's hand. And Val Kilmer looked at him and then shoved his hands in his pockets so he couldn't shake my buddy's hand. And so when he walked by, my buddy was like, well, you know what, Val? Keaton was a better Batman. And I always thought that was really funny. Because Keaton was a better Batman. I don't know anything about Firestorm, but I know that I've loved the first 3 issues of this. And I know it's a mini-series, and I always thought Firestorm had a cool-looking suit when I saw, the Kenner Superpowers figures when I was a kid. Not enough for me to jump ship and pick up any DC comics. But when I saw this, and Jeff Lemire was writing it, and I heard some good things about it, and so I was like, sure, I'll pick that up. I'll add that to the pile. It's only a mini. And there it is. And I've been enjoying it. Look at me. Branching out. One single issue at a time. Daredevil number 4. Stephanie Phillips has been doing a great job with this. I've been enjoying it. I do wonder if how much of my enjoyment is met with really didn't like the last run. So I'm just happy to have Matt back, not being chased by the devil or whatever the hell was going on there. Wolverine number 23. I was down on this with the whole we're gonna take away the bone claw thing. And then they went and did a thing that I'm so happy that they did, which was bring back. I always love it when Cecilia Reyes pops up. I will go to bat for how good the 1997 X-Men crossover kind of Operation Zero Tolerance was. This is another thing where it's like, it's interesting because it's like, I think the comic books were great, but I also know that the first season of X-Men 97 kind of like tightened it up. Because I know that, not to get off in a tangent on a 29-year-old comic book series, but that didn't end the way that it was initially intended to. It kind of just ended. Like, it just sort of, it was anticlimactic in the end. It was a great story, and the fallout of it was very interesting. The fallout of it led into Steven Seagal and Joe Kelly taking over the X books, and they seeded some really interesting things that they were going to do. And as a teen, I was very excited about what they were going to do, and like the Wizard articles I had read about it when they did interviews and stuff like that. And then editorial came in and just dumped all over it and ruined what could have been a fantastic run. Like, legitimately a fantastic run. We were robbed by editorial, as happens, you know. This has been better than it has any right to be. And I have been enjoying the fact that something, when it was initially announced, I was like, ugh, don't want to go through that again. And I was like, see, this is why I occasionally need to like take a beat. Don't always just huff and puff and eye roll things, and give it a chance. Should have talked more about the cartoon series, well, right before this one. Holy smokes. The intro to episode 2, loved it. The use of Veruca Salt's Volcano Girls, fantastic. This gives me X-Men Adventures vibes from when I was a kid. Is it fantastic? Is it as good as the show? No. Is it a good little bridge? Yes. Does it have an X on it? So am I going to buy it? Yes. Am I part of the problem? Yes. It is what it is. I mean, I'd buy this for the cover alone. Just the old 50s sci-fi alien invasion-esque cover. But Gail Simone's been crushing it. This has been one of my favorite X-Men titles. That Cyclops mini, man. Holy smokes, that was really good. But I have been thoroughly enjoying Uncanny X-Men. I am always happy to see Banshee pop up and things. He is one of my favorites. And so I am pretty jazzed about reading that this evening after I am done watching X-Men 97 and possibly an episode of Spider-Man Noir. So those are the comics that I picked up this week on our bike ride. Corner Box Classics coming up this weekend. Everything should be back on track. I want to do another room tour because I've changed things around and there's new floors and I got things all where they should be. The only problem is there is a wall that is missing over there in my office because of some plumbing stuff that we had to fix, and I don't know if that will be fixed in time, and I don't want to do it with that wall open, so it's going to be a little longer, so deal with it. Not that anyone cares. So there's that. The tea is getting cold. I gotta head upstairs and build some Legos with the little guy. And then when he is fast asleep post-bath, it's X-Men 97 and comic book reading time. So I went on a lot of rants. I will apologize for none of them. Yeah, Cornerbox Classics this weekend. I hope everybody had a great New Comic Book Wednesday if you get new comic books. McGroovy now gets new comics, because I was going to say if you're grumpy and you're just doing old comic book day, I hope you enjoy your old comic books as well, because I know I will. I'm looking forward to getting through a couple of these, and I'm jumping right into Cornerbox Classics because there's a Frank Miller Daredevil staring right at me, and I'm like, I got to get back into that. So, yeah. Have a good Wednesday, or whenever you watch this. Hope everything is going great. Hope you're enjoying your summer. Hope you're excited for X-Men 97. Couple weeks and we got Spider-Man Brand New Day. That's exciting. We'll finally get to stop listening to people ask who Sadie Sink is in the movie. It's going to be great. That's probably going to be my favorite part of the whole movie. It's just like, oh, now I don't have to hear about it anymore. Hooray. Shut up, nerds. All right. Thanks for taking this ride with us. And I'll see you with Cornerbox Classics. Bye.